Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today we are on Module 6, Lesson 5. Like usual, if you have your green workbook, go ahead and get that out and turn to the page. If you have a notebook or a piece of paper, you're going to need it. Pencil is it's a good thing to have. And if you have gray paper, now's the time to get it out. Okay, so this lesson, we're actually going to break it into two parts because there's just a lot of things that we need to understand before we're able to apply it. If we think about our last lesson, it was a lot of finding a point and going along with it, but now we're kind of making sense of what we did when we played the game and what happened and what those specific points look like when they were lined up. Okay, so we're kind of going to dive a little bit deeper. So this is going to be the first half of us diving deep, and then the second half will come on Wednesday. So yeah, don't be overwhelmed though. Just because it's new material doesn't mean anything. If you're feeling like Squidward over here, don't worry about it. He got through it, and we can get through it too. Okay. Our objective for today is to investigate patterns in vertical and horizontal lines and interpret points on the plane as distances from the axis. Whew. And your I can statement is I can find patterns in vertical and horizontal lines and understand that points on the plane are distances from the axis or the axes. All right, we're going to have a little bit of vocabulary review. Really quickly, what I want you to do after I ask these questions is to pause the video and think about it in your mind. But think about what defines a pair of parallel lines that look like this. And then what defines a pair of perpendicular lines that look like this. So go ahead and pause the video, think about it as much as you need to. Okay? All right, so if you looked at this pair of parallel lines and you said, oh, I know exactly what defines them. They are a pair of lines that never touch. You are absolutely correct. They are a pair of lines that never cross. They can go across from each other the whole time, but they will never cross. And then if you looked at the perpendicular lines and you said, oh, I know that, easy. They're a pair of lines that cross and they make 90-degree angles, then you are literally in my mind, which is kind of creepy because we're a little bit further apart than we usually are, but it's okay. That means that you are in my mind and you are on the right track with me. Now, another pair of vocabulary words that was mentioned in our objective is vertical. Vertical and horizontal. Now, these are words that we've been using for a long time, but just once again, just to review, vertical lines, vertical lines that go up and down, horizontal lines go across. Okay, say it with me. Vertical lines go up and down, and horizontal lines go across. Easy, simple. Yay. So I've noticed as I've gotten some of your work, it's been a little difficult trying to recreate some of these graphs. So I put this on this video because I know that some of you use this on your phone or on a laptop or on an iPad or whatever you may have. What I want you to do is just take a screenshot of this picture. Um, if you take a screenshot of this picture, you'll be able to kind of draw on it so that you can actually look at what I'm trying to get to. I know when you draw it on your own without this copy here for you, then it may be a little bit more difficult to understand what's going on. So if you're able to take a screenshot of this picture, because this is what we're going to be working on, you're going to need two screenshots because we're going to do one kind of together. And then you're going to do one for your exit ticket. So for our lesson today, we're going to just break this down. Okay? All I'm going to do is give you some points. I'm going to give you points for X, points for Y. You're going to create your coordinate pairs for them. All right, this is what I want you to do kind of along with me. And then you're going to plot those points on this graph, on this plane. Okay, pretty simple, pretty easy. Now, before you do that, the most important thing is that we label our grid, our plane, because without the full labeling of it, we're not going to really understand what's going on. Okay, so since I've had trouble labeling this in the past, see my battleship video, I'm going to kind of let you kind of take the lead on labeling this. I'll guide you to them. I mean, it's really not super difficult because it's already marked the 5 and the 10. So we know that they're not going to be any fractions, just because it only has whole numbers listed, and 5 and 10, there's 5 spots in between 5 and 10. So this is just labeled with whole numbers all the way until 11. Okay, so this is going to work. I'm going to give you the point for H. The X coordinate point for H is 4. The Y coordinate for H is 3. And so that means our coordinate pair is 4, 3. Now, someone asked me in the comments a couple videos ago if it matters the order, and it does matter because the way that we identify things on the coordinate plane, it always goes the x-axis first and then the y-axis. So if you switch that, if you would put 3 in the x spot and 4 in the y spot, it would create a completely different point. Now, once we have our points, I want you to create a line. All right, I just want you to connect them once we have our points, okay? So this is the only coordinate pairing I'm gonna give you that looks like this. I want you to do this on your own, okay? Because we've been working on it for a while now and I feel like you got it, okay? So the point for I is x10, y3, j is 8x, and 3y. I feel like I'm playing bingo here. K is x1 and y3, and L is x6 and y3. So I want you to connect, I want you to plot those points on this graph right here. Make sure that you have all of these filled out so that I know what your coordinate pairs look like. And once you connect these into a line or whatever it may be, I want you to write down what you see, what you wonder, and what you notice, or what you see, what you notice, what you wonder in the comments. Okay, you have all of these plotted on your graph, on your plane here. I want you to kind of just write what you notice about the line that you made. You know, what do you notice about our points that made this line? Is our line vertical? Is it horizontal? All that stuff. Okay, so that's what you're going to put in the comments after you completed your graph here. All right. So go ahead and pause the video and take the time to do that. And then once you're finished, you're going to unpause the video and we're going to keep going. All right. So your graph, first of all, your chart should look like this. You know, this is probably the easiest part because you're just taking the X and the Y and putting them in pairs. But it's important that you know how it goes. So it should have had 10, 3, 8, 3, 1, 3, 6, 3. Okay, so there's a little bit of extra lines up here. We're not really going to focus on this. We're going to focus on our HIJKL line here. And I believe they named it W. So our line that we're working with today is W. So once you see this line, I want you to kind of pause and think about the vocabulary we reviewed: perpendicular and parallel, vertical and horizontal. So if we look at this line, is this line horizontal or vertical? Answer it like I'm sitting here and asking you right now. Is this line horizontal or vertical? It's horizontal. It's a horizontal. Figure out what is this line parallel to, or more specifically, what axis is this line parallel to? Remember, this is the x-axis down here and the y-axis up here. The y-axis is always vertical. The x-axis is always horizontal. What line is W? What axis is W parallel to? Remember, parallel means a pair of lines that do not cross. And then we're going to ask what axis is W perpendicular to? I know this seems really simple questions, maybe not, but these are questions that are going to help us in the future when we get into our problem set. So our axis, the axis that's parallel to line W would be the x-axis, because these two lines are never going to touch. If we were to continue this out, extend it until infinity, and extend this into infinity, they would never touch. They would never cross. And then our y-axis is going to be the line that is perpendicular to our W line. Because if we were to extend this way, kind of a little bit over, we would see a perpendicular crossing here. We would have 4 90-degree angles when they crossed. I'll pay attention to our chart here. Our chart has all the y coordinates that we have, the y-axis coordinates. They are all the same. Okay, so that helps us know that when either our y coordinates or our x coordinates are all going to be the same, they're going to create a line. Now, based on the way we plot them, is going to tell us if it's a horizontal line or a vertical line. Okay, now if we think about this, okay, I look at my chart, all of these y coordinates are the same, and this made me create a horizontal line. If I made our x coordinates all the same, what kind of line would that give me? Would it still give me a horizontal line? Would it give me a different line? Would it be diagonal? Did we even talk about diagonal? Who knows? Okay, so for your x ticket that you're going to turn into your specific math teacher, I want you to kind of test this out. Okay, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're keeping it simple. We're just going with it. Okay, you're going to take these coordinates for x and y. You're going to make coordinate pairs over here for them. And then you're going to plot them on your chart. It's the exact same thing. I just changed the numbers up a little bit. And then you're going to answer these two questions. So what axis is the line you created parallel to? And what axis is the line you created perpendicular to? Okay? So, all right, so that is going to be the end of our video. Make sure that you send this into your specific math teacher. On Wednesday, we're going to go deeper into this. But for now, I need to make sure that we have this in order for us to move on. Okay? So thank you and have a good day.